Hello. There's a lot of work have been put into the investigation of non-cranking situation on my 2008 BMW 535. I spent about 2 days searching for the root cause to get the car working again. And what you look at here is some jumper cable. That is basically a ground strap wire causing the whole issue here. So watch the video. If you like the video, click like and subscribe. Thank you. So with the starter in place and this car still doesn't work, you push start, exactly the same problem. It click, but nothing happened. There are fuse panel in the bottom of this passenger side here. When this guy is all clear, you can unscrew them and you can check there are 2 fuses or 3 fuses in there. There's a relay. I checked them. Actually, there were more than 3 fuses. There's an array of fuses, maybe about 4 or 5 of them in the bank, and there are 2, 3 fuses. I checked them all, and they're all fine. So basically, there's nothing down there that caused my non-start problem. I came up empty with that. So what I decide to go after is I check the terminal between ground post here, this ground post, to here with my meter, and I get 12.58 volt. Okay, so that's basically the same voltage across the battery from the back. So it's telling me that I have good power from the battery up to here, no problem with it. So now I need to find out how do I get this to the starter. So I went and measured the starter where this cable here, that's actually connect to the starter, back of the starter terminal, and I measured that to the ground post, and I have the same voltage. So I know this wire make good connection to the starter to a 13mm bolt, and it looks solid to me. There's nothing wrong with it. So now I have to find out, well, how do I get the negative to the starter? Where is the connection? Well, I connect to the engine ground, right? So that's through the bolt. And so I measured this through that, and I got 12.58 volt. So I decided to measure from here to the engine here, ground, and find out, well, what do I get? I end up getting like 12.33 volts. So there's about 0.2 something volt different. And so I decided to take a jumper, connect it like battery booster cable, connect from here, this post, to here, okay, engine ground, and measure it again from the battery terminal here down the engine ground with the jumper in play. I get 12.58. So it's telling me that I don't have a good ground that's going to the engine just by point something to 2 volt. I sat on that for about 4 or 5 hours, didn't understand why, and I don't really know that was caused my problem or not. But then I came up empty with everything else. The trigger push button that go on the back of the starter, I connect the jumper on it and with the meter, and I went inside and I pushed the button, and that trigger showed me the voltage, which is proper signal. So it's not that. So everything seemed to work except for, it doesn't want to crank. Well, I decided to pursue that voltage difference. Okay, so the car has the ground strap. The ground strap is connected. So here's my screwdriver or pointing tool, and down there's a little reflective thing there. That's the nut, the new nut I just installed. That nut, it basically is the jumper, the ground cable connected over. Sorry, I can't really see it very well, but I can see that little reflective where my screwdriver moved there. That's the nut that's holding the ground strap. That ground strap, it mount on an engine mount. And the engine mount, then it goes to the frame on the passenger side. Okay, so that means you would have to remove the passenger wheel. Okay, then you need to remove the bottom inner fender well, and there, with the bottom shield, everything removed, this bottom fender well can be dropped out, and then you will see the ground set there. Well, there's a ground cable. So you may laugh at this tool, but this is the only tool that actually works. I have crawl foot, I have socket, but none of those things, again, I was able to reach that nut over This is a nut over the engine mount, 13 millimeter, and this is a ratchet wrench with a swivel head. So I reach this wrench up over from the back side where the inner fender removed, and I bend this down in an angle as such that it actually fully engaged over that nut, because that thing is in an angle. So now with this thing here tilt setting in position like this in there, I can only put 2 fingers to move it, and I'm not strong enough to move this wrench. And you can only swing no more than, an inch or so, an inch and a half. So I was not strong enough to pull. That's where this crowbar coming in. So this crowbar, I was able to put the crowbar at the end of this guy, okay, like that, and leverage again the A suspension arm on the bottom, and give a little nudge and push on it. With the moment that I was able to move that wrench to break free, and from that on it's just simple and removing it. This cable is flexible, but this end here is hard, very hard. It become hard over time, and it broke. You can see some weight mark, look like it was some arching going on. And this side here go mounted on top of engine mount. This is where you have a hard time to get access to that. With a 13 millimeter nut, you have to remove it. Once you remove that, the stud actually fall right through. So the stud is not threaded stud on the engine mount. It's basically feeded from the bottom up. So you have to remove that. So you can buy a new cable from BMW dealer, and it would be like $60, $58 or something plus tax. But I didn't have one in stock, and I would have to wait for it. I need to get the car going. So I get some battery cable, and I get some terminal lug, and I made them and mounted back in place. The cable had to be soft and flexible because this cable is positioned near the turbo. The turbo probably from here to here, maybe 6 to 7 inches away from it. And any jacket you put around here, you probably have to be more sensitive to potential heat damage. So you get a good cable with some kind of heat resistant, or tuck it out of the way under the frame, which I did, and that should be okay. I will check it from time to time, but I don't think that's going to be a problem, because right next to it is the plastic. So when you remove this nut, the stud going to come out. So this stud is short. It's only that. And I make a new lug. The lug is slightly thicker than this. So I don't have enough thread, and there's not enough room for me to start to putting, longer stud, because it's interfere with the turbo intake pipe. So I have to get a new bolt, which I did, and I made about 2-3 more threads longer to make room for the new lug, and put a new bolt in, and push it up on the top and the bottom with a magnet and a screwdriver to wedge them there so it doesn't fall out down as I was trying to install this new cable over the net. So you're trying to do all this thing here blind. So this thing you have to go on top, inside there, and then you have to put the nut in spinning by hand with 2 fingers, and it's challenge. So I put a magnet beside. When this nut did fall out of my hand a couple of times, the magnet pick it up as it fall out, so you don't have to go fish all over the place. I was able to install that in maybe about 4 or 5 minutes. I was lucky, but a lot of patience and time trying to get the thing done, and that's how I did it.